3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Secret Sex Dungeon. My name is Luke McFan, and I am the Dungeon Master here at our game, I suppose. Tonight we continue delving through the dungeon that our adventurers have been going through for the last probably 3-4 weeks. There's been some trials, tribulations, rests taken after battles have been fought, and at this point in time our adventurers find themselves entering a room that has been flooded by this mercurial looking liquid that's across the floor. A small fog kind of clings to the bottom of the chambers, and it can be seen that there was a creature that began to move around the room, but this creature appeared to be our warlock Magnus. Upon the case of mistaken identity, Syl, our monk, punched both of the Magnuses in the face in an attempt to determine who was who, and in some kind of effort to differentiate the two that was not super successful, both of them kind of falling from the blow but not being knocked out or anything. With True Magnus's determination here, he pulls forth the luck blade that was given to him by his patron, and using one of the wishes stored within, seeing that the diamond on the hilt of the sword cracks and ceases to have this small arcane glow, the entire room is shrouded in some very thick shadow that then begins to warp reality almost to a point where the face of one of these men standing opposite each other begins to morph and contort. The eyes become bright yellow, and the skin almost seems to fade back into a very dull blue hue, rather than being the usual skin tone of Magnus the human. And before long, standing in front of you all is a doppelganger. And at this point in time, you can see that he is looking frantically around the room, attempting to assess his situation, seeing that the 4 of you are kind of surrounding him at the moment. He is going to go ahead and begin darting away. And at that point in time, I am going to get everybody to roll initiative.
Oh. 26. My new dice are really just great.
2.
2 for Douglas.
Well, funny story. Yes. I rolled a 20. And the funniest part of that is that just as you cut off from the final episode, from the last one, you said to roll initiative, and then you went, oh, wait, hang on. And guess what I rolled then?
A 1.
A 20.
Nice.
No.
That is perfect.
It's a 20 both times.
I rolled a 19. I just got new dice because my other ones seemed to be cursed. And
Okay, so I rolled a 1, but I've used my inspiration to re-roll, so now it's a 12 total.
Okay, so 12 total.
I also rolled a 1.
So what's your total, Jordan?
Oh, sorry, 24. Good question.
24 for Syl. Fantastic. And we do have a few players out, as you would probably notice from the overlay at the moment. Both Chris, Gabby, and Kelvin couldn't be here tonight. We're having a long weekend here in the Australian continent, so please excuse us for not having a full cast this evening. But okay, so we had Davos was there, Magnus was there, and we are at a point where Ko, you will have first action here. And what are you going to do?
My roll 20 is still loading.
Ah, okay. Well, in that case,
Me too.
I'll go ahead
Yes.
and just give...
Hold on, it should be loaded.
Okay.
Okay, it's loading. It's just very pixelated.
Okay. It should change in a moment.
Is the doppelganger the purple circle?
Yeah. It is the purple circle.
Purple circle. Okay. It's still very pixelated, but anyway. So, which way is he facing?
You can see at the moment that it is facing towards Magnus.
I am going to creep behind him and then shank and the kidneys.
Okay, so who are you?
Actually, one in the kidney and one in the neck.
Okay, sure.
Shank.
So you go ahead and are going to get your sneak attack on this if you hit, and you
So
have
it's a
advantage.
magic dagger as well for one
Yeah.
of them.
So you have advantage because you are flanking him at the moment from pretty much all sides, and so because you have your advantage, if you hit, being an assassin, it'll be an auto critical.
First one's 20, not nat.
Okay.
And do I roll twice for both of them?
Well, you have advantage, so
Okay, well that was just the first roll, so hold on, I might get higher. Nah, that was a 5. So 20, non-nat.
so you get your
And
sneak
then that's
Yep.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23 for the second one.
attack. Okay, so your first attack.
This dice has been great to me. Oh yeah.
So which are you putting your sneak attack on? Your first or your offhand?
Because my offhand's my magic dagger, I'll put it on my offhand.
Okay, so roll the damage for your first hit, which is critical.
I'm still trying to find my thingies. Hold on. Oh, 3d6, okay. So that's 3. Do I
3d6.
double it?
Well,
Do I
if
double
you-
that?
Yeah, so if you're critically
For my sneak attack?
with your sneak attack, then double your sneak attack dice.
And I will also go to 12 normal damage too.
Yeah, but it's also doubled.
So I roll 2d4 for them then?
Yes. Yes.
So 2d4, so sorry, just 2d4 for each dagger.
No, so you critical on your first hit because you had advantage.
Sorry, I'm really bad at that.
That's okay. I can just double check it for you. For rogue.
So the first one, non-offhand, does 3 damage. And then my sneak attack, hold on.
Yeah, that's an uneven number. Shouldn't it be double?
Unless she's adding. Well,
Actually, I'll stay out of this.
no, it's okay. I'm
I'm just a
trying to figure out.
monk.
25.
25.
Sorry, no, 25 plus 7
So
Is-
32.
27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32
So 32 damage on
for
your
the magic neck one. Magic
Okay.
neck one.
So cool. All right. So it takes 3 fire,
Jeez.
3 damage from your hidden blade,
That's why you
which
have
is-
an assassin on your
which
team.
is your offhand, and then 32 damage from the second one.
Which is the magic dagger in the neck.
Yeah, okay. So let me just figure
That'll
this out here.
tickle.
Okay. Yeah, that tickled. That tickled a bit.
And the
So,
good neck tickle.
He just went,
yeah, you can see at this point he's just like, you kind of like catch him up under the ribs as he's like beginning to turn away from Magnus, and you, yeah.
Also,
shove-
as like a bonus thing, can I go shake shake in his ear?
Yeah.
Like, shake
Yeah,
shake.
sure. Yeah, you just like shank shank as you completely like destroy the internal organs of this creature. You can see that he just clutches at where you pull the dagger back from and turns over his shoulder, and you can just hear inside your head, "How dare you!" And at that point, Sil, it is you're going to stay where you are.
I just smile and I'm like,
Oh, cool. It's my turn.
Yes.
Yes. Well, now I know who to punch. So, I would like to throw one strong fist right into his face, like this time for real.
Yeah, for sure. Putting all
One
your
good
force
punch
behind
right
it.
there.
Yep.
Yep. I have rolled not much. What do I do? Plus 7 to 13.
13 misses, unfortunately. You see as it bends double and kind of turns towards Ko, where you were aiming your strike just barely grazes his skin. Definitely not scoring any damage on that strike. Is there anything else that you wanted to do?
I'd like to take the momentum of that swing to try and do a front flip, because I've just missed, carry that on into some sort of front flip to catch him with my heel as it comes around.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So an extra attack, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
I also got 13 for that. Actually, no, inspiration time. Come on! Come on! Yes! I spent 1 point of inspiration to re-roll my dice, and instead I have rolled 24 total.
That hits. That definitely hits. So you
Yes.
almost like, yeah, using that momentum, you roll over, your heel kind of striking right into the base of its neck. And what do you do there, damage-wise?
Damage-wise, I do a grand total of what's that? 6 damage.
6 damage.
Yeah, 6 bludgeoning damage, but it can overcome magical resistance or immunity. And also at this point, I would like to take the chance to please make a Constitution saving throw, because I tried to channel all my ki into disrupting yours.
Fantastic.
This shape-shifting dude.
Hey Beck, these dice work really good too. So the Constitution con save there is an 18.
Okay, you win that round.
So
as I land, I'd like to do a swift punch to his groin as a bonus attack.
Oh, sure.
Like, if he passes the con save, nothing happens. So he's just really pretty good. He's got his shit together. So yeah, swift hit to the groin. That's gonna be a 12.
12 misses, unfortunately.
Damn.
Okay.
I must be too low or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you kind of like, you like go to strike at its groin and notice that it's kind of amorphous and it puts you off. Like, this creature is naked, but it doesn't seem to have any kind of like, genitals as such. You'd think that his genitals are not doing so well. But you do sort of like, you just kind of
1 point of inspiration for you, sir.
You kind of like prepare your strike and wait for a moment, and you're about to hit, and you just go, huh? And kind of pause, and in that moment, you see its eyes flicker from you to Ko to Davos, back to Magnus, and then it is this creature's turn, and it's going to use its action to disengage and attempt to get the fuck out of dodge. Kind of barges past Ko and Davos. That's going to be 15, 20, 25, 30. And
can I get an attack of opportunity?
Yeah, me too.
So using its action to
disengage.
Yeah, so it used its action to disengage. So I just need to check one thing, whether that's only from one creature or whether it can be from multiple. Because one of you may get an attack of opportunity here. Disengage is spelling that I know, and that is under action, and these circular references are wonderful. 192. So, using the disengage action, your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks for the rest of the turn. So yeah, so it manages to sort of duck and weave, trying to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible, and through many swung swords and limbs, it manages to break away without any issue. But it sort of skips across like a lot of the rooftops of this like civilization that is laid out in front of you, this tiny little world, and that is the end of its turn. So Magnus, comes to you. What are you doing?
Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is, as my bonus action, I'm going to take a regular healing potion that I have.
Yep.
So that's a d4 plus 2.
Okay. 2d4 plus 2 is a standard healing potion.
It's 4 plus 2. It's d4 plus 2, right?
2d4.
Yeah, I think it's 2d4.
So that's 5 HP I get back, which is wonderful.
Nice.
I'm also flying currently, so I have a move speed of 60 feet.
Oh, nice.
So I am going to cut this motherfucker off.
Nice.
Okay. And I am going to speak to him. And as I speak to him, my party members will notice that Magnus's eyes flare violet with like fey light, and his scar also lights up with the same light.
Ooh.
And he's going to say to the creature, "You've been inside my mind, creature. You know, I've been alone for my entire existence. For the first time, there are people that actually might give a crap about me, and you tried to take that away from me. Your soul belongs to me now."
You see it sort
Does
of...
he say it or does he shout it or?
You can hear, it's audible, and I am going to fire two Eldritch Blasts at him.
Nice.
Okay, so one of those is an 18, the other one is an 11, but I'm going to use my luck to reroll that 11.
Okay, cool. So the 18 does hit.
So now it's a 21.
Okay, so both of those hit. You see that as you release these like Eldritch Blasts from, is it like out of the end of the luck blade or from your hands, or what are you doing
Yeah.
here?
It's out of the sword.
Yeah. So there's these two like bolts of purple energy that kind of fly out of the end of the luck blade, and as it looks up, it just says, "Fool, you will become food for me, just like this tomb's last owner." And you see both of the Eldritch Blasts sort of spiraling towards its face as it realizes its fate. Roll some damage for me. Let me know what you get.
Do you just want the total?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the total would be 14.
14. So how do you want to do this?
This
Damn.
is awesome.
Wow,
Okay,
already.
so
Yeah,
what
Ko
I'm gonna
kind of
do
fucked it up.
is like I'm gonna fire the. I'll fire those blasts out of the sword,
Yep.
and like once the blasts have hit him and he's like falling, I'm gonna like fly towards him with all my speed,
Yeah.
grab him before he hits the ground, and like with my fist that's like I've vanished my sword, so it's just my fist now. I'm just gonna pummel his face and pummel it until it like completely caves in, and there's like blood dripping from his knuckles, but he can't even tell because he's just bam, bam, bam.
Can you say stop hitting yourself?
I hate you. So yeah, like he's just in like a frenzy where he's like just pounding and pounding, and blood is dripping from his knuckles. He's just like
Yeah,
beating the crap out of this dead doppelganger.
Yeah, turning the face into mush. And as you're doing this, you notice that you're like kind of forcing him like back into some of that liquid that's like surrounding the room. And as you do, you can see that like it kind of bubbles up around the skin as his head begins to get pushed down further with each of your strikes. And you notice that the skin around the sides is just bubbling off and just continuously like falling back from this skeletal structure below, but the flesh seems to be like being eaten by this this liquid, whatever it is.
Wow. Actually, that's what Sil says. Sil goes, wow.
Wow. So
I ready my axe, ready for my first strike.
yeah, Davos, you kind of like swung at the creature as it was running away, and then you turn around and you're like, I can help. Oh, And Magnus is just like beating the absolute shit out of this doppelganger into the like mercurial liquid that's on the ground.
Okay, I'll like drop the rest of his body into the liquid, and I'll like flitter back over to where the others are with like blood still dripping from my hand. I just won't say anything.
For sure. You come back and you kind of like flex your knuckles a little bit, and as you land next to everyone, you can see that still there's this world surrounding you guys where you are. You can see that there's the large coffin in the center of the room, and it looks as though there's 3 separate kind of pyramids that have been built into like as what would you call them? I suppose types of like chests.
Can I go over to the nearest one and carefully not step in the liquid and have a look at investigate the closest one?
Yeah, sure. So the closest, I'll just mark them out so that you guys can see what where they are. So freehand. So there's one here, one over here, and one. Where was the other one? I think it may actually be. Pyramid temples. 3 of the pyramids. Yes. So there is another, and it would likely be this here. So you can see all 3 of those are different chests that would look as though they might be able to be opened. So you come up to the first one, Davos, and you can see that there's like a large, like it looks as though the whole top of this pyramid would like hinge backwards from where you are, but it looks as though it's a little bit stuck at the moment. You could try and pry it open if you wanted.
Yeah, can I pry it open with my axe?
Yeah, for sure. So you go ahead and stick the axe in there and begin lifting. So just roll a athletics check for me, and you can take advantage like you would with a crowbar.
Nice.
Good old magical weapons, they can be used for everything.
13.
13. So you begin kind of like prying it up, and you're standing on the opposite side of like the river of liquid, and it's not quite enough like leverage from where you are to make it happen. It's as though like whether it's similar to like the stucco in here that's kind of melted a little bit and the rock has fused. You just at this point like you are having a really tough time getting it opened. So you take about 10 minutes giving that a go before you kind of like give it another like attempt.
I see Davos struggling. I'm like, you want some help there?
Sure. Let's open this.
I go over and I see if it's locked and if there's traps.
So it doesn't look like it's locked. It looks like it's stuck, as though it would hinge usually, but the hinges are kind of a little bit like difficult to move. Ko, are you standing where you are on Roll20?
Yeah.
Okay, can you make a dexterity check for me?
$18.
18. Okay, cool. You hear something for a second, and it's just like as though something is sizzling. And you look down and notice that the leather on the side of your boot is kind of being eaten away, and you quickly like kick your foot a little, and a bit of this liquid like splashes off, leaving a bit of a hole in the side of the leather boot that you're wearing. But you manage to avoid any kind of damage yourself from it. So you step across carefully, and you're at the top of this pyramid. They kind of come up to about maybe 3 or 4 feet, and yeah, you can go ahead and try and open it if you like, or are you looking for? You said you were looking for traps, right?
Yeah.
So roll an investigation check for me.
That would be a 9.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look trapped.
I'm just like, pull on it harder! That's what she said.
Okay, I give it another go.
Okay, so roll a strength check with advantage again.
15.
15 is exactly what you needed for this. You go ahead and you kind of move the axe slightly, and you hear kind of a couple of sections of stone like cracking as though it is releasing the top of this. And as you flick this open, you can see that there's 10 of these like coin necklaces that have what look like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of silver pieces like strung across them. You can see that, yeah, there's 10 of these. You can see that there's a couple of pairs of jade earplugs that look to be like a little bit like larger than a standard earring, and you can't see where there's any, like, there's no metal that's been bent. You can see that there's a small statue in there that's alabaster. It's made it's like a humanoid of some sort holding a spear. And you can also see that there's a small ring in the bottom that's made of agate that you think would be worth a little bit as well. So if you guys clear that all out, it totals 10 of these necklaces is 3,600 gold, 3,600 silver pieces.
We can go on a holiday.
Oh, that's like 350.
To another
so
dungeon.
It's like 360 gold. You think that the jade earplugs, the 6 pairs of them, are probably worth about 15 gold a set. The little statue is worth about 50 gold, and the ring inside of it that's in there as well.
I'm eyeing that ring.
Yeah, sure. So
I also eye the ring.
So you kind of hold it up, Ko.
I start hand pick it up while you're looking at something else.
Can I do brute force try to grab it?
Ko, roll a sleight of hand check, because as Davos kind of like opens this up, he's looking through what's actually here, just to see, like, while he's holding one of these necklaces up in the air, whether you can quickly grab the ring.
That's a 21.
It's a 21. Davos, can you just roll a perception check for me?
7.
So yeah, there's no ring to your knowledge, Davos. You do notice that there's hundreds and hundreds of silver pieces, though. So yeah, Ko, you have a...
Pick up.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Ko, you have a small agate ring that's worth about 5 gold. But it's very, very nice.
Does it seem to have any magicalness to it?
You'd probably have to wait. You don't really, like... It doesn't seem to be emanating, like, magical energy, but it may be magic. You're not really an arcane user, so you might need to check in with Bell or Magnus about it, but you're not sure. So yeah.
Can I check?
I kind of...
Yeah, I grabbed the silver.
Who's the account keeper for our group?
I thought it was... I think Gabby was, minus the things that I
No, it's Beck.
It's Ko. I think Ko.
So, what are our funds looking like there, Ko?
I grabbed the silver. You can grab the rest, Ko.
It will weigh me down. I've got too much stuff, what we have in terms that we need to sell. I don't know if I'll be able to carry it.
It's a pretty decent point. You guys are probably getting, you know, close to some pretty serious weight limits on what you're grabbing and carrying through the temple. But we can go ahead and sort that out after the stream. No one wants to see weight accounting at the moment, unless you do Twitch.
I'm also going to
Twitch. If you want to see that, go ahead and let us know, and I'll create a nice episode where we can get into really looking at what these characters are carrying around with them.
There'll be a story for every item.
Yeah.
Okay, Luke.
I'm gonna quietly sidle up to Magnus and then be like, "Hey." I'm like standing like next to him, so like not in front of him, but like next to him. I kind of like nudge him on the shoulder. I'm like, "Hey."
I don't respond.
Can I check if...
And I kind of like elbow you harder.
He just kind of looks up at you a little bit vacantly, like he's not really paying attention.
Can
He's
I
like,
check if he's okay?
Yeah, you're both
Maybe
kind of.
it's
Maybe he's
okay.
the doppelganger.
Oh shit.
we killed Magnus.
So when Syl asks me if I'm okay, I sort of like shake myself out of my stupor a little bit, and I notice for the first time the blood sort of dripping off my knuckles, like I didn't notice it before, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, just shaken.
not
Do you need
scared.
healing? I ask him.
I am pretty hurt.
I heal 11 points of damage.
Thanks, Davos. I appreciate that. Sorry, that was really, really weird. Really weird. The thing, it like looked like me, and not just looked like me, but knew my memories and.
Yeah, it was weird for all of us. I punched you in the face. That was really uncomfortable.
You did, but I asked you to, so
That's true.
I'm glad you did that.
Well,
Co, what did you want?
I'm kind of like speaking in a low whisper. I'm like, hey, so, I was looking at my rings from what we picked up earlier, and is this one magic? And I kind of showed him the agate ring,
It's
which
sort of
is on my
like,
finger.
look at it, and I'm like, can we maybe look at your ring later?
Why?
I'm not in the mood.
Co, roll an inside check.
That would be at 12.
12. Magnus looks beat. Like, you know that Davos has just, like, given him a good bit of healing, and you saw him drink a potion, but he looks wrecked. Like, not exhausted so much, but just weary.
I kind of bring out my water skin. I'm like, here, have some water. You'll feel great afterwards because it's filled with fireball whiskey.
I take it, and I take a way too big gulp of it, and I give it back to her.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm like,
Way to go.
And I was like,
I
I
go
want to
over
hear
to-
all the gory details later. The first kill is usually the best. And then I walk
Ooh.
away and go to speak to Gabby.
Yeah, sure. So
Oh.
you find Belle kind of just inside of the room, and you see that she's kind of like standing about as though she will, just like Davos was, a little shocked by the rapidity that this occurred. And yeah, you sit and chat with Belle for a bit.
I'm the only one who does not seem phased. I'm like in a super happy mood about it. I'm like almost bouncing.
Great.
Yeah,
So,
I gotta open the other two pyramids as well.
okay, so which one are you going to first?
That one.
Okay, cool. So you get to that one. Are you going to go ahead and try to just lift it open?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw for me. You kind of like come up to this one and begin lifting the top. And as soon as you begin lifting it, you hear from like lower on the pyramid structure. Oh, can you hear me at the moment?
I can hear you.
Davos, are you there?
What about Nelly?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, so as you begin lifting the lid on this structure, you hear from lower on the pyramid just these kind of like crackling of rock and like grinding of gears, and see that 4 large like iron pieces are coming out of the ground and beginning to surround you in like a lever-like motion. So if you can make a dexterity saving throw for me and let me know what you get, that would be really good.
19 plus 3.
Okay, a 19 plus 3, that's plenty. You kind of roll backwards out of the way and see these 4 mechanical arms like latch around the top of where you essentially would have been standing. And then a few moments later, you see the 2 of them, 2 massive spikes stick straight out of the arms, and on the opposite 2, a single spike stick out from each of them. And they just stay wrapped around the top of the chest, which is open, but you kind of fall backwards, landing sort of like Godzilla style, like on a couple of buildings that are like tiny below you, and a big cloud of dust like lifts up into the air, catching like the small amount of torchlight that you've got on the edge of Sill's like torch at the moment. And as the dust settles, you can see that they're just stuck where they were, like wrapped around the top of this pyramid, and the box is open. Just roll a perception check for me.
$14.
14. So you can see that there's an additional 9 of these like silver necklaces inside of the chest. You can see that there's also Okay, so as you reach in, you can see that the barbs that are like around like that were coming off of these iron bars, it's going to be quite difficult to like maneuver yourself to the bottom of the crate. So go ahead and roll another dexterity check for me as you're reaching in to try and grab these things out. $11. So you feel one of the spikes like begin to catch on some of your chainmail, and you shift slightly, and in your opposite shoulder, one of the spikes just pierces straight through the chainmail into your shoulder, and at that point you take a single point of piercing damage. And can you roll a Constitution saving throw for me?
22 plus... Oh no, it's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, cool. You begin to feel like this drain going from your body, like as though where you have been pierced is like causing you to become extremely weak. And you kind of steel yourself for a moment, pulling yourself from the spike and kind of taking a second. And you have this feeling pass over you as though you've managed to avoid the effects of whatever was on these spines. But on the other 5 spines that you can still see, it looks as though there is some kind of slick liquid that has been like kept on the spine inside of these arms.
Tough break.
Who has small arms?
Code?
I was thinking thorax.
Yeah, he'd have very small arms.
Oh, his are short, but are they thin?
Yeah.
It could make them into like, I don't know, stick arms, like a stick insect.
I've got like a spear if you need to poke it somewhere. Does that help?
Yeah, just trying to get this treasure out of this thing.
A small shovel would help. I don't have one of those. Damn.
What's the priority reading on that? Like, how much do we need it?
It's another close to, what would it be? Close to 3,100 silver pieces minimum. And
why don't you get Bell to mage hand it out?
Bell's like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Bell's like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. And she casts Mage Hand and begins lifting things out of there as she stands nearby looking over. And you can see that she brings out, there's 3 rings that are carved of jade and alabaster, and they look like they're worth about 10 gold each. Someone should probably write these down as something that Bell has, so whoever would like to do that. Or if you want to hold on to them and have them as the party funds, that would be good. But Matt has it for the moment. So yeah, there's 3 rings that come out that are carved of jade and alabaster. Each of them worth about 10 gold each. 4 small figurines of jade and coral that are worth roughly 25 gold each. You see that there's 8 bracelets of beads that are worth about 5 gold each, and 9 of these coin necklaces. And as she begins pulling one of the coin necklaces up, you can see that the mage hand has grabbed onto like these gut strings that have been woven together to like hold the silver on this necklace. And as it begins lifting, you see that the mage hand sort of struggles for a moment, and then through the center of the mage hand, let me just double check what the weight limit on mage hand is, because it could perhaps withstand this, but it may also not. Mage hand. Carry more than 10 pounds, it's fine. So it takes a little while, and you see that the arcane sort of like nature of the hand is being cut into by this the weight of the object, but she manages to get all 9 of them out. So that's 9 of another 360 silver. So whatever 9 by 36 is, which is a lot. So that's what the second chest had in store. Davos, are you heading to the third?
Might as well.
While this is going on, can I be inspecting my sword and looking at that diamond that's shattered?
Yeah, for sure. So just roll a perception check for me as you're kind of looking over at Magnus.
10.
10. You notice that the bottom gem, which is a very well-faceted diamond, has a single crack straight through the center that seems to have originated near the bottom, and kind of like almost like creates this lightning-like fractal pattern that creates a single fissure like along the top of the diamond. The other 2 are still glowing, though it looks as though there's slightly less luminescence to the glow that is coming from each of them.
Okay, I kind of say under my breath, 1 down, 2 to go.
You kind of pause for a second, just looking around the room. Then in the back of your head, it says, "Go bigger next time. That was child's play. You know more."
I just do a small nod, like not one that's gonna be noticeable, but just like a.
So-
I check for traps this time.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a... if you're looking for traps, roll a investigation check for me.
Natural 1, -1.
Yeah, it's like seems fine. You kind of
Did
think
you even...
I wonder if it's got the same trap as the last one. And you look at the pyramid and just like kick a bit of dust around the bottom of the structure, and like yeah, the ground is like dirt covered. Doesn't really look like much. What's your passive perception, Davos? Ten. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can see that before you is this kind of like, again, just a pyramid-like structure that looks to have just a hinged section near the top.
I open it up.
Okay, so as you begin opening it, you lift it slightly, and this massive, like heavy, it feels heavy, and immediately, like a section where a spider web had been near the front, you just feel like as though something has been blown out of it. And you look at like your armor and your arms and your hands, and there's this kind of like herbal patchouli like fragrance that is like emanating from you, and there's like an oil that is across your forearms and like across your chest, and nothing seems to happen. And you begin lifting the lid like a little bit. Like, it's up to you if you want to keep lifting the lid.
Like, I don't notice anything bad from this stuff. It's just kind of like with this weird dust.
Yeah, it's like an oil. It's almost like a perfume of some sort.
Sure, whatever. Keep going.
Cool. So as you continue lifting, you lift it about another 2 inches, and then you feel like some resistance, as though you're like pressing like something inside of the boxes. Like either there's like a lever that is being depressed or like released, and you can either continue opening the chest or investigate further.
Can I have a look in and see what that is?
Sure. So as you kind of like take a look underneath, just roll a strength check for me to hold the lid open, as you kind of like don't want it to go any further.
6.
6. Okay. So you're kind of struggling a little bit, and I'll give you disadvantage on your perception check as you try to like look inside of the box. So roll a perception check with disadvantage.
2 7s.
2 7s total.
No, just the 7.
Okay. So you can't quite see what's going on exactly here, but it looks like there's a large like piece of stone near the center of the box that is like pushing up on the lid as you're lifting.
I'm a bit confused. They call over Ko to help me have a look.
What would you like me to check for?
There's no traps. I've checked for those. But
I kind of raise my eyebrow at this like I don't trust it.
I'll hold this up while you have a look inside. Something's kind of stuck there. Should I just keep opening it?
It's not gonna bite my hand off, is it?
I've got both hands right here.
Yeah, but you didn't stick your hand in it.
Should I stick my hand in it? I say without any like sarcasm.
I'm just like, oh, why not?
Okay, you hold it and I'll stick my hand in it.
I hold it.
Okay. Ko, can you go ahead and make a strength check for me as you try to hold the lid at exactly the same point as Davos is holding it?
Well, that's a 6.
That's a 6. You take it from him, but a little too like overzealously, like expecting more weight after the warning that this is heavy, and it kind of lifts slightly further than what you were expecting, and you just hear, and then like the winding of like a gear for a moment, and immediately as you see Davos bend down to like reach his arm in, he's taking up about 3/4 of the front of the coffin, structure. But as he like reaches in for this piece of stone that he was looking at, that you actually find Davos is attached to the roof, attached to the lid, as though it is pulling something from below. You hear,
okay.
And at that point in time, 4 darts fly out towards.
Hooray!
One of them is going towards Ko.
Thanks for your help.
One of them is going towards Ko.
This is why I didn't stick my hand in it, I kind of say.
And 3 of them are going towards Davos. So, Ko, does a 12 hit?
It's a match.
For your armor class? Now, we tried to figure this out
I'm
last time.
skeptical.
You wear leather armor, don't you?
I think you've got more than.
Yeah. So it probably
Okay,
fits me.
so leather armor is base 11, and then you add your dexterity modifier.
So then it wouldn't hit.
Okay, so update your armor class. Then Davos, we have a 2 17s. Do they hit?
Miss.
And the other also misses. So you manage to somehow, as you're like reaching into this, like to grab this piece of stone and make sure it doesn't move, 2 darts just like shim off of the chainmail on your right shoulder. A third barely misses your neck and gets stuck.
Oh wait a second.
Oh yeah?
Sorry. If I'm not holding the shield, I don't get the shield armor class, right?
No, you wouldn't.
All right. So they both hit then.
Okay, and the third is going to be an
I'm just sorry.
14.
No, that still misses.
Okay, so 1 dart shims off of your shoulder, and the other 2 get stuck in the chainmail, but going through the chainmail, piercing into your skin. And you're going to take a little bit damage here. The first one deals 5 piercing damage, and the second deals 4.
At this point, I look at Davos and I just go, check for traps, hey?
I did. Well, it wasn't a trap like the one before.
Well, there could be different traps.
Should I stick my hand?
If I was going to hide my treasure, I'd do different things. Screw that.
So, do I stick my hand
I
in
just
it?
shake my head, like, disappointed.
Can I just take this moment while I'm observing this with Magnus? Can I just be like, see, Magnus, we all help each other. We're like one big family.
I kind of look at him and I nod and I'm like, I like that, Sil. That's really sweet.
And we have no secrets from each other at all. I just say innocently.
Yeah. No
Hint,
secrets.
hint.
Cool. And I naively turn away and keep watching the action unfold.
Nice. So as you turn away, you kind of look where the edge of your light is hitting the room sill, and you can see from here that there's actually like a small alcove, like to the north of the room, that has some kind of, I suppose, like a little pedestal that's set up. Just, if my mouse is going to work, right about in this location here. And there's two pillars in front of it, as though it's like something like protective. Looks as though there's some kind of like humanoid standing there or something like that. But for the moment, that's what you notice. Davos, still like kneeling down and like asking Ko whether you stick your hand inside it still. You notice that the small amount of light that's reflecting, that's catching like the edge of the case. You see Silva again, as though there is just hundreds of offerings that have come to this place, and that there is just huge amounts of like riches within this area of the tomb. It looks as though there's another like 11 of these necklaces that are inside of the like this container. And then you can see there's all manner of like obsidian, bronze, and shell necklaces. There's like 15 of those that are worth about 10 gold pieces each. And then there's 2 massive piles of gems that are each on a silver platter. And it looks as though there are 60 gems on like 30 on each of these platters. And each of the gems is worth roughly 5 gold.
Yeah, let's add that to loot. Hey, Matt, can you add that to our loot checklist.
What was it? Sorry, say again.
11. Oh no, I'll just talk to Luke afterwards.
Let's do that. I'll go ahead and put a big circle
Okay.
here around the things that you guys have collected. And that'll work. Okay, so you finish this. Ko, you kind of step back watching Davos like looking at the piece of stone that was attached and like trying to figure out how the mechanism worked on the thing. And as you do, you notice that in the side of the coffin, there's like a panel that has been slid back, roughly like maybe 3 feet long and about 2 feet high, just in the side of the coffin. And you think that this might be where the doppelganger came from.
Can
Hey
I
guys,
think that's
don't
where
forget to
the
check
treasure
the sarcophagus.
So I'm just like kind of look around, see that Davos is busy, and I kind of like edge my way towards the puppet.
Oh, so you,
I hope you like my dance moves. And then I do my moves, I do my dance moves. Sorry. And then I kind of have a little peek.
Okay, so from here, as you like begin looking into the side of the coffin, you can see that immediately, like, there's just bones. Like, there's like a lot of the other coffins that you guys have come across have had like skin or like petrified muscle or something like that. And this is just a skeleton. It looks as though whatever was here before has either been like prepared in this way. What's your passive perception, Ko?
That would be a 12.
12. You notice like a giant like jade bangle that is around this guy's like wrist, and you begin pulling it off, and like the hand pops off with it rather than it actually like coming off of the arm.
Wait, can like is it just the hand or is it like, you know, the fit, like the this bit as well? Because if so, I'm still going to hold it up and be like, oh, hey guys.
Yeah, it pulls off like one of the like the radius.
Radius or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you
And I kind of hold it up and I was kind of like waving to people with it, like, oh hello.
yeah, from the other side of the coffin, Syl, Magnus, you just see this skeletal hand pop up and like start waving. Ko.
Can I start doing like hand puppets with it and hide behind and start doing like shadow puppets with the
I
hand?
feel like Belle would appreciate this.
Yeah. you
I do this for Belle.
Yeah, she begins
I do this
laughing
all
and
for Belle.
clapping, and she's kind of sitting in the corner, and she's like, "Oh, that's great, Davos, isn't that great?" And,
I'm too busy stuffing my pouch full of gems.
yeah, you're just like
Classic
gems,
Davos.
gems.
Always missing the sacrilege.
So, Ko,
I
you
need
actually-
armor that doesn't give me darts in the face.
yeah, for sure.
Stuff it full of gems. Problem solved.
Ko, you notice that as you like go to like you finish your performance and you take this like emerald bangle off of the arm, you look at the hand and there's like teeth marks on the bones.
Ew.
I kind of go to Belle because she knows most about death. Did he have fleas?
Belle looks at her for a second and she's like, I think maybe it ate him.
Ew.
The flea ate him? And I start to look really worried.
No, that thing that Magnus just burnt alive in the acid water stuff.
I start to look relieved and like, oh, the other Magnus.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That thing wasn't me.
That
It
thing.
wasn't an other
Yeah, I'm-
Magnus. It was a doppelganger.
I
Yeah,
don't
glad.
know what the
So-
hell it was. I'm just coming from my character because I don't know what the hell it was. I'm just like, the other Magnus.
Well, if we had that one, then we'd probably all be eaten. So I'm glad we have regular Magnus, who doesn't eat us. If I had a
Well-
beer, I'd say to Magnus, the man who doesn't eat us.
Well, not while I've got rations.
Oh, Magnus. Hmm.
So, Ko,
So I just like to keep my eye on Magnus a little bit. That concerns me.
you can roll an insight check if you like.
Sure.
While he's doing the...
15.
15. Yeah, Sil, you actually notice it at this point too. Magnus looks like a bit gaunt. Like, he looks as though he's very weary. He's like responding the same and like everything seems fine, but he just seems to be like drained of like his strength.
Do you need to take a break or something there,
Yeah, should we take a rest?
Mr. Magnus?
While this is going
You
on,
okay?
though, can I grab the severed skeleton hand and kind of just shove it into that little hole that was in the coffin? Because I don't want to get my hand in there. So,
Yes. So you begin like
making sure
move-
there's no more other Magnuses.
Yeah, you begin moving bones around a little bit, and as you like move the rib cage out of the way, you see this big piece of stone like land on the ground and roll towards you. Like, it's probably like the same shape as, you know, like Belle's shown you what scroll tubes are, and there's this like stone scroll tube that rolls out towards you. There's a box that is sitting like just inside of the coffin itself, and you pull that out and kind of flip it open, and you can see that there's these 5 little statues that are sitting inside of it that look like they'd probably be worth some money. They're definitely like very well like carved and created. You kind of like begin scraping through the coffin with the arm and like get yourself in there a little bit, and you see a skull roll by and you're like, oh shit, and notice something else. And as you like scrape this thing towards you, as it comes into the light, you can just see these teeth and like fur that is like set. There's these massive yellow eyes that are set into the face, and as you continue pulling it towards you, you notice that no, it's not actually a creature. There is a headdress that has been created that is like a...
I so want this.
Yeah, you can see that there's like a little ferret head at the front that has been taxidermied with its mouth open and just kind of like teeth bared, and then there's just a whole heap of feathers that like curve backwards from it, and you go ahead and yeah, you can see that.
So I then kind of pocket the severed hand. It might come in handy later.
Yep.
So I pocket the severed hand, and I kind of pick up the headdress. I smell it a bit, see if it smells really musky, or if I need to like, get some perfume on it, and check it for traps, and then I pop it on my head.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a headdress. I don't know what traps you'd be looking to find, but you kind of like rifle through the feathers for a second.
Making sure it's not going to cut my head off once I put it on.
Yeah, you can't see any blades. It's pretty malleable.
Cool.
Yeah, but
Does it cover my whole face, or is it just right from the top?
It looks like something that would sit atop your head and kind of like roll backwards, like just feathers down the sides.
I put it on. I just put it on.
Cool.
My hair doesn't burn it, does it?
No, it doesn't, which is really weird. And as you're kind of inspecting this, the taxidermying is like perfect. Like, you could have sworn that this is a new piece, as though it's been made very recently. And just give me a moment here, because I want to just check something.
Who wants to come check on me?
I want to check something before I
With magic.
I admire the headdress.
And while you're just checking, Luke, I'll respond to Sil and I'll say...
I
look,
pose so you
that-
can admire it.
That was really weird. I'm probably not okay right now, but I will be. I just need some time to process. But
Okay.
maybe when we next make camp, we can find some time to discuss.
Okay. For now, we'll be careful. Who knows what else is around the corner.
This place truly is cursed.
Okay, cool. Ko,
Yes.
you put this headdress on, and as soon as you do, you feel this like kind of like rush of arcane energy that you haven't really experienced before, and you
Feel a what? Sorry,
This-
that cut out at the wrong time.
sorry. So as you put the headdress on, you feel like a rush of arcane energy just like flow over your body, and it like starts at the base of your skull and kind of like runs down your arms to your fingertips, like down into your feet. And as you look down at your hands for a second, you kind of flex your fingers, and you can see that rather than the grey skin that you usually have in your Fire Genasi form, and like being able to see the like heat of the blood below the like wrinkles in your hands, they almost look as though for half a second they turn to like humanoid, and then they turn to like a deep green color and have these like large claws on the end of them, and then it stops, and you feel as though with this magical item you would be able to disguise yourself.
Ooh, shit!
And
Whatevs.
Do I need to attune to it?
I can do that innately.
no, you don't. But Davos, as you're looking at Ko putting this headdress on, all of her hair for a moment just falls from the like naturally like moving like elemental flame that it usually is to like a brunette, just like brunette hair falls to her shoulders, and she takes on the form of like a human for a moment, and then for a second you see these tusks growing out from her bottom jaw, and her brow kind of
Whoa.
extends slightly. The hair becomes extremely short and kind of like shaves down the sides. The hat itself has disappeared entirely, but it looks as though Ko has turned into some kind of like half-orc woman. And then a second passes, and Ko is back as her normal self, wearing this headdress.
Can
Can
I?
I
Oh my god.
ask a
Nice.
question about it? Does it mean that I can change myself at will, or does it just do it automatically? And are there
You-
limits to what I can change into?
You have found yourself a hat of disguise. While wearing this hat, you can use an action to cast the disguise self spell from it at will. The spell ends if the hat is removed.
Whoa.
Can I insight check to make sure that's Ko, because we just fought a doppelganger and now this thing is changing forms.
True.
Fair. But also, is there like things I can't turn into? Just quickly, like can I like
Go
not turn
ahead.
into a hot dog?
Go ahead and look in the back of the book at the disguise self spell.
It's in player's handbook.
Yep. So, Magnus, roll an insight check.
That was cocked, hold on. Okay, it's a natural 19, so it's gonna be like plus, let me check. 1, so a 20.
20. Okay. So, it really freaks you out for a moment, seeing her just like morph through these three forms, from Ko to these two different women, and then back to Ko again, standing there. She kind of like giggles and hiccups for a second, and then like removes the headdress, and she's like, "What do you say, Ko?"
I just keep hiccuping. I'm like,
Does she change form every time she hiccups?
No, she's
Oh,
like
that'd be
lifted the headdress off and is like looking at it madly. But it looks like Ko, Magnus. You haven't seen like the same childish like look of amazement and
it's a childlike look of wonder now.
wonderment
And
even.
as something I can do I recognize it as a disguise self spell?
Yeah, it's it does seem like that, and that it is a magical item that does this.
Okay, so I was sort of like had tightened the grip on my sword, but now I'll just like bamf it away.
Cool. Okay, so, yeah, Ko, just roll a perception check.
How?
You were going to say something there, Magnus. Sorry.
I was just wondering
15.
how long we've been sitting here.
So this has probably been about close to like half hour, 3/4 of an hour, while Davos has been like looting these things, and Ko has been going ahead and helping him out. So you're probably close to a short rest
So-
if you wanted to take one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I would like some hit die.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Okay. So, Ko,
I had
15.
a 15.
You see that there's also one other statue that's grabbing a little bit of the light in the room, that's a little bit further into the coffin. Not quite reachable from where you are.
I take the hand to give me the extra reach.
Sure. So it takes you a few tries, and you're like,
I'm using what I have. It's handy. It's handy. Hey.
it's a handy hand. So you go ahead and like
I'm
slowly
so punny.
scrape this statue across to you, and you can see that there's something very, very familiar about this statue. It is made of like white alabaster, and the woman that is standing atop it has a very beautiful face, very fine clothing, and you can see that near like the base of her neck, the statue has been carved to have like some scales like around like on her skin. And you look back at the face of this woman, noticing that the pupils have been carved as like vertical slits, even down to the detail that the slight open mouth seems to have a forked tongue.
It's not the Nerid, is it?
No, you think that this is much more resembling the woman that you met in the archives at Daggerfoot.
Wait, you said forked tongue? Ooh.
Yep. Or someone similar.
Ooh.
But it's not the same person, but it looks very much like her.
So have we seen
I
this, or
bring
is this
Syl
just
over because Syl seemed to know people in there. And like, hey, I found someone you might know, and I kind of point to it with that hand.
Is it
Without
safe to
touching
come
it.
across? Or will I get
Why
attacked
not?
by the floor?
You could go ahead and jump across onto the coffin with no
Well,
issues.
yeah.
Being agile as hell,
Yeah, cool.
you could get across.
Hooray! Okay, I take about steps back to the wall and then just go for a jump onto the coffin, the
I kind of
sarcophagus or
point to
whatever you
it
wish to
with
call it.
the bone hand, and I'm just like, because I still haven't touched it yet with my hands. I'm just like, that thing.
Oh, that thing.
What thing? What are we pointing at?
The statue.
Yeah, that thing.
I'd
It seems to
say
be some kind of snake-like.
it does resemble one of the Yanti.
Yeah, what you pointed out before. I wonder if they were the people who desecrated this place? Or
Well,
what's
I
happened?
didn't detect any desecrated things last time.
Of the place, I guess.
Perhaps. I don't know. There's so much Yanti iconography here, and after meeting that woman, I don't really believe in coincidences.
I kind of like sidle up to Syl and just like, dare to touch it for a gold piece.
I saw what happens when you guys just touch it, so I'll keep my dance to myself, if you don't mind.
2 gold pieces?
Should we investigate I can't remember what you described it as, but the thing that to us kind of looks like a throne.
Yeah, sure. You can do
Yes.
it like that. But if you you
When
head
Syl
across-
walks away, I kind of give up on this.
So
Code, those pillars look suspicious. Do you want to check them out for us?
I say okay, and I bring Bone Skeleton Hand with me. He's
How-
staying in
how-
my backpack.
Are the pillars to the roof, or are they are they more like, whatever the word is, plinths, or whatever, or are they like a column all the way up?
yeah, so you can see that as you begin walking forward, there's an alcove that is framed by pillars, and upon it, like behind it, stands a stone bench on which there's a shriveled corpse, and it looks as though it's like huddled on the bench. Scattered around its feet, you can see that there's all of these like various trinkets and offerings.
Well,
Cool. Do you want to
let's
check?
go.
I'll check it. Does it have writing on it?
Does what have writing on it?
The pillars.
Nope, they are stone pillars.
I look for traps.
Where? On the pillars?
Like on the pillars, like if there's like any dart holes, arrow holes, or little slits, or if this thing's gonna come out.
Sure. So roll an investigation.
Or
check.
if like they're gonna go disappear. 15.
15. Definitely doesn't look like you're going to disappear if you walk.
Sorry, 16. 16.
Okay, cool.
It's a plus 2.
It doesn't look like you're going to disappear if you walk through this area. You like throw something through and it stays and kind of hits the like throne and then falls slightly, landing amongst a whole heap of like polished rings and silver that is like on the ground in front of it. Yeah, doesn't look like anything's trapped.
I'd go around. Doesn't look trapped to me.
Cool. Can I just
approach for
walk over to it?
Yeah, so I'm going to put Ko up near the pillars. At the
Sure.
Yeah, Davos. So
Can I, to get over, can I just... Sorry, carry on.
No, that's all right. What were you going to do?
I've jumped this far. Can I jump from this onto the dead body of the, I've lost the word, of our friend who we've just killed?
For sure.
What
Magnot.
did we call it?
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger.
Threw the
And then-
body into the acid, so there's no body.
Ah. Okay, never mind. I just go across like every other pleb.
Just like a schmuck. So
Yeah.
you managed to jump with two like deft movements, like across to where Ko and Davos are with no real issue. Magnus,
Cool.
you are kind of like just behind where everyone is. But Davos, you see that this corpse seems to have been here for like a very long time. The skin is almost like that of like tanned leather, like it's very, very rough and almost petrified in a way. You can see that behind, like at his feet, there is a silver plaque that is bearing like the face of the sun, as though it is like repeated throughout this temple. You can see that there is like a small agate that's carved in the shape of a heart. There's a miniature golden llama that looks like it would be worth about 50 gold pieces. And there's a ring of polished pink granite that looks like it'd be worth around 10 pieces. But just while you're here, roll a religion check for me.
$16.
16. So thinking about like tribal religions and what they did and what this area might be, the iconography of the sun being placed at his feet sort of gives you the idea that this was like a chosen person in the tribe. They are referred to as a Gwesa, or someone who is chosen at birth to be sacrificed to the sun upon his coming of age.
What do you think they did to him? Yeah, Davos.
Killed him, I interject.
Well, I can see that much.
What's that weird heart thing?
What's what?
There was a weird heart thing.
Oh yeah, there's
Agate heart.
an agate that is carved in the shape of a heart. It's probably about like maybe double the size of a coin. Looks like it'd be worth about 50.
Wait, are we talking like an anatomical heart or like Valentine's heart?
Like a love heart.
Okay. All right. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know. All right. 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 All Can I investigate the corpse further?
Yeah, you like take a step closer and roll a perception check for me. Oh, actually, what are you trying to figure out?
I'm just investigating it, just curious.
Yeah, sure. Like, are you curious about how it died or what it was, or?
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I'm just having a look at it, but not for anything in particular.
Okay, roll a perception check.
16.
16. So you can tell that this is like a young boy, probably only a teenager, male, well, male, obviously, human, and he seems to be like huddled, like almost in like a sitting fetal position, like wrapped arms around his knees, and kind of like just leant into the back of the chair.
I say to the others, I think we should leave. I don't have a good feeling about this place. It's
Well.
what happened to this child.
If we can find a way out of here, I'm keen to take it.
I think perhaps the way out is back to where we saw the were-jaguar and another path.
I kind of say, weren't we supposed to cleanse it though?
Yeah, we need to move onward.
Good points. Can I just
But
have
if
a
it's
look
bad
around and see if there's
juju-
anything? Is there anything that we might have missed? Can I just do a glance around the room with my torch? Like,
Yeah, sure. So at this point, roll a perception check for me. Sil?
ooh, that's 1 plus 6, 7.
7. The only thing that you can see that might be worth something is the large oil drums that are near the top of the stairs. Like there's the 4 of them. You think that they'd be full of like some kind of high quality oil if it's in the room of like someone that has been, you know, there's a golden sarcophagus in the center of this room. It's obviously someone of importance. So they could be worth something, but you think that they're probably about like 10 pounds each, the contents of them, and you'd have to be carrying them in like water skins or something similar.
Well, I did have a flask of a bottle of oil that since got emptied onto an arm, but we still got that bottle, I believe.
Yeah, you would.
So I think Ko had it. I passed it to Ko. Ko, you still got that bottle that we had the oil in? That we put on Davos's arm? You wouldn't have just thrown it away. Probably.
So, out of game, can I get a rehash on this bit?
That was
So
when
it's-
Davos was stuck and he had his arm clamped by that big giant eagle beak. That's when he started swinging the axe
That's
at us.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We were trying to oil him up,
Yeah, it's
and then
because
I
it was.
passed it to you.
Hey.
Did you lube him up?
You got angry
You lubed
because it
him
was
up, but then you
unsolicited.
didn't really.
Unsolicited oiling.
I thought we had used it all.
Yeah, but the bottle that was in there, that's the thing.
Oh, the bottle, yeah.
Davos,
Okay, I'd like to fill it up. Actually, hang on. Give me 1 sec, I'll be back.
Easy. So, Magnus, also you would likely have the potion bottle that you've just gotten. And so with like the bottles that you guys find amongst yourselves, you manage to get out of here the equivalent of, let's see, 15 gold worth of oil that is high quality, and that's in the form of 3 like relatively large glass vials. So you have 3 large glass vials of oil with a total, with each of them being worth about 5 gold.
Can I keep one on me?
Yep. Syl takes one, Magnus, you have one, and Ko, you also have one. So with that, what are we doing, folks?
What size creature would it be able to cover?
You think that
Sorry,
a
guys.
medium... You think you could probably cover a medium creature with this much oil. So, Sil, you have
No hints. No hints.
You have a new flask of oil that is worth
Yay!
roughly 5 gold pieces.
I say we should get out of the room and back to the weird cat room.
Cool.
Yeah, I prefer weird cats to floor that tries to burn you.
You can just
And
see at this point as you turn
Double
around, Sil,
Magnus.
there's just like a leg
Yep.
that like floats to the top near the sarcophagus for a second, and you see like a whole heap of gas just like expand out of the side of the leg as it almost peels open and then falls back below the surface, bubbling.
Good. Oh, that was a bit grotesque. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk away from all this. Alright, I'm going back to the door
Yeah. So you guys climb back up through the
along
tunnel.
the side.
Yeah, that was inside, like that led you down here in the first place. You managed to, you end up back in the same room, and can see that at the moment there is egress that you could take to the north, to the northeast, to the southwest, or you could go back the way that you had originally come. But all of those at the moment seem to be the options that you have.
Do we find the horse again?
Yeah,
Elvis's
so
horse friend?
yep. So Nepharis is inside of the room at the moment. I think that Nelik is the only one that can move the horse. But yes, Nepharis is here.
Nope.
I am going to take
Cool.
a quick
And
bathroom
upside
break,
down.
but you guys feel free to discuss amongst yourselves what you'd like to do.
Cool.
I'm on quite low health, so I feel like. Can we do a long rest? No, Nikki's not here.
Well, we can only get in the benefits of a long rest once per day. So it depends on what the time is. If we're quite early in the day, there'd be like no point. And we've already had a couple of short rests.
I don't
Yeah.
think we've been up long enough since the last long rest.
Yeah.
When was that even?
Good question. Actually, was that with the
The last
Is it
long rest
when-
was after we fought the Nerid.
Yeah.
We did a long
I'm
rest
guessing-
We
in
also
here.
took
Probably-
another short one when we did that statue room.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know we did a long rest in here.
No, not on this map at least. But it depends. I think the time now is like early afternoon
Okay,
Or-
well, I can
or mid
short
afternoon.
rest. I can roll some hit die.
Yeah, fair call. Yeah, actually, I was gonna say, the rest that we were getting while watching you guys could count, but then again, you got shot by like a bunch of darts, so that's probably not a rest. No.
So
Healing now as well.
what are our door options?
North, southwest, or northeast. They're kind of on the map, if you can see that.
So what do we do here? Do we flip a coin? Do we... I like north.
Four-sided coin.
I say we open up each door and see what we can see. And
Yeah, that's
if
cool.
there's just the same sort of thing down each one, then, well, we want to find
play
a
it
way
like
out, right?
One of those like $1 million games, like, and behind door one we
Yeah.
have.
I was thinking
cool.
like a dating show sort of game.
Oh,
Like an old school one
yeah,
where they're
I
like,
that.
You know, the woman
Door
in
number one
seat
is pretty
A.
shy and made of wood.
Yeah.
Are you dating the doors?
Why
Yes.
not?
Yes, we are. This is a make-believe world.
I love how like conclusive that answer was from everyone. Just yes.
Absolutely.
Door number 2 is ribbed for your pleasure.
Ooh. Door number 3 has traps because it's kinky.
Lots of
Oh.
change.
I vote we go further north.
Yeah,
Like south is the way we came from. It would feel like going back on ourselves, so I would naturally feel like onwards is the answer.
Yeah.
But I say we look through all the doors. Just open them, see what we can see. Poke a torch in it. Also, I'm gonna go get some food. I'll be back in a sec.
Oh, cool. I'm just tagging out for Sil. So,
Well, Co, do you want to go around to each door and like check for traps and see what's inside?
Yeah.
Which door do
and
I want to
also-
most date?
Take a short rest.
I will go see if there's any of the doors are locked.
okay, so as you go ahead and check the door in the north, it doesn't seem like there's any locks on it. This one just here. As you go to the double doors that are in the northeast, also doesn't look like there's any kinds of like traps or locks on it. And you go ahead and check the ones in the west as well, and it also doesn't seem to be locked. Just while you're walking around, Co, can you go ahead and roll a perception check for me?
15.
15. Okay, give me half a second here. There's just one thing.
Oh, we making the DM do more work?
No.
Hooray! You work for your money.
Believe.
I really want pizza now because everyone seems to be eating pizza.
I want pizza.
I have
It will amuse
pizza-shaped
me.
food.
Hey, the original flavor I heard. The other ones.
No, they're not pizza-shaped though. They're actually corn chips. Rice chips. They're weird.
But delicious.
Weird. Yeah, you don't notice much
I
else.
think I'll take this chance to...
Oh, sorry.
All good. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna pet the tiger that's taxidermied while we wait.
But you don't mean my headdress, do you?
No.
I also wanted to check for traps at each of the doors.
Yeah, so none of them seem trapped, but roll an investigation check for me.
Another one?
Yes.
7.
7. Cool. Yeah, they don't seem locked or trapped in any way. All of these doors could be, passed through with relative safety.
I kind of ask, which door do people want? Behind door number 1?
So, Sil, as you're patting this tiger that is sitting on the ground, you can hear that with each pat, there's like a heft to the body. And it just like, almost sounding like coin.
Oh, I thought you were going to say purr, and I was going to be like,
Oh.
And you take a bit of a look.
Can I-
You can
can
see
I-
that the whole underside of the tiger is just sagging, and that there is like the imprint on the on the inside of the skin of coin.
Can I pick it up?
No,
Oh.
like it is too heavy.
You want to push it over?
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Okay, so you and Davos push it over.
Can I give it a push?
Yep. Go
Yeah.
ahead and give us a strength check here, because this is actually pretty hefty.
That is 10 total for me.
Davos, were you helping?
Yeah. I got an 8 total.
So, okay, so you both rolled. Yeah, you both begin pushing it, and rather than like tipping it over, you just kind of slide it along the floor a bit. You can both hear as though like a whole heap of gold is moving around inside of it.
I feel like at some point we stop being adventurers and we're just grave robbers.
Well, see, this
had a good influence
We
on
need
his
to
party.
get more equipment.
this is awakening my inner naturalist.
Like
though.
any other. With my axe.
Oh yeah, sure. So you just swing at the underside of it, and yeah, it doesn't take much. You swing, kind of like the axe actually stops as it hits the tiger, and you pull back, and just like a pinata, just coin rains out of the inside of this thing. And there is just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gold pieces that fall out of the center of this creature.
Yay!
Literal golden pinata. So you spend a bit of time like distributing this amongst you guys to like make sure that you can actually carry it all, and you notice that there's 500 gold pieces that fall from the tiger.
Yeah.
We're going on a shopping spree. If we survive.
If we get out of here.
Yeah.
So yes.
I think maybe can Matt write that down once he plugs in?
How much was it, sorry?
500
I'm
gold.
gonna go. Yeah, stuff.
In just coin.
But we distributed amongst ourselves.
Yeah, we'll do
Let's
that later.
distribute
carrying
it
away.
around. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gabby's
just,
gonna do
just
this as
for,
well.
Yeah, I'm
for
assuming.
the carrying sake of it, we all have a but we'll sort it out.
So, as you're all standing around trying to figure out where to go, what to do, do you have any direction that you feel like you're going to be heading?
We're gonna look through every door, but go north if they all look the same.
Look through them? Okay. So, let me do a little bit of reading for you guys. It's story time with the Dungeon Master.
Ooh.
I know, it's quite a treat. I don't talk enough on this stream, so I thought I'd treat you guys with a little bit of a story here. So,
Oh, thanks, Luke.
Piatas.
you open the northern door, and the passage leads towards a set of double bronze doors bearing the engraved face of a jaguar god. Both walls of the corridor are carved to represent two lines of warriors in profile, holding hatchet-headed polearms and facing the western doors. So I'll just go ahead and reveal what this all looks like. But these figures are painted with vivid lifelike colours in red, black, white, green, and yellow. And if you give me a moment here, I will go ahead and you'll be able to see what I see. So yes, through the northern doors you can see that there's...
They look like butts.
They look like butts, but yeah, they're essentially like a couple of soldiers that are in profile, standing at that point in the corridor. So you can see that as you look north. As you look to the northeast, give me a second here and I'll find what number that room is. It is... it looks as though there's a very large, like, sloping hall that seems to head north, like to the northwest, northeast. Sorry. God, if I could get my directions right, I'd probably be a better orienteer. And it looks as though it ends in some kind of doorway as you kind of poke your head into the area. Just give me a second here. Just trying to reveal without revealing too much. It's like getting changed at the beach.
Have you wrapped your towel around your legs?
Oh yeah, I did that a while back. So yeah, so you can see before you that there's a long hall that seems to almost be inclining slightly, and it appears to end somewhere up to the west. However, you do go ahead and check out the doors in the southwest also, and if I do that, I'll be able to show you what's down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's something over here that I can probably read. That would tell you. Oh, yeah. So, initially, it also looks like there is just a very large corridor that heads from here to the southwest. And if you're wanting to head further to see if there's much else going on there, you could head along those paths. But for the moment, that's what you can see.
Okay, well, I have two thoughts, and I don't know which is more prominent. One is that the north part with the statue soldiers, they look like they're standing sentry to something. But the one to the northeast is inclining up, and we do want to go upwards to try and get to the top of this monstrosity.
That's a good point.
So I think, I don't know, maybe northeast because it's going upwards.
Yeah,
I think
like that.
seldom is something guarded that isn't important.
That is also true. Maybe we go north first, then northeast.
Okay.
At least, let's see if we spring any more traps, and then we'll know which way not to go.
I am super curious about north with the statues, so let's go that way.
Cool. Okay. So,
All opposed?
march in order.
May.
Me.
Who keeps
I guess-
saying that?
I guess I did recommend it, but I'm still sort of shitting my pants, so... Like, from a
Hey.
while ago.
I thought Davos, we all agreed Davos was going first because of the axe thing.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
meat
okay,
shield.
sure. Did
Yeah,
they
meat
take
shield.
a short rest before? No, I can't remember that.
I'd say that you probably
Ain't
did
nobody that
Davos
has that.
while you guys were looting. I'd say Magnus and Syl got a short rest in. Unless you guys wanted to stop for
Oh.
another hour.
Davos looks pretty beat up. So you've got the good eyes. Do you want to inspect ahead?
How about we both walk ahead side by side, you and Mako?
Yeah, let's do that.
Kick some butts. If the
I'm
butts
secretly
come
thankful
to us.
for Syl because I was a little scared to go in there alone.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I
right, you
wouldn't
got
go there either.
You got that weird thing with statues.
So,
And I'm happy for someone to keep me company.
Syl, at this point, you notice that your torch begins to sputter. And after the hour,
Yes.
the torch is beginning to go out, and it is reducing the area of effective light. So it's up to you if you
I
want to
go
consume another
produce
torch.
flame.
So Ko just produces.
I would like to
flame from
consume
the pit.
another torch.
Okay.
Hey
I
guys,
just do produce flame so we have light.
do you want some crows?
Yeah, okay, let's go with the crows.
I could just do the produce flame, guys.
But how far is it? Like, the light that comes out from it?
So it'd be equivalent to torchlight, what Ko can do.
Oh, cool. I'm happy for maximum light. Please do your
I'll
crows
hold it out like this,
and,
like.
and the flame. Do all of the
Still,
above.
you
please.
pull out another torch. Ko's got her hand lit. There's like Magnus crows flying overhead. It's all lit up in this hole. And as you both walk forward,
I'm totally happy with that.
what are you guys doing?
Check the trap.
I'm holding up my torch in a defensive fashion.
Sure. So you're checking for traps, Ko. Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me. Let me know what you get.
That's a sweet 5.
Sweet 5. You're kind of like distracted by these statues and not really looking around for too much. And you get to a certain point.
I'm making sure they don't come alive, that's all.
Yeah, for sure. You're being very cautious of the statues. And you walk up to this point right here with Syl immediately beside you. And the moment that you both step forward, you hear this kind of very familiar now click underfoot and see a pressure plate that goes into the ground across the 10 feet of the hallway. Now, what happens, however, is that immediately, as the pressure plate is depressed, two of these statues pivot from being in profile to facing inwards into the hallway. They bring these very large metal halberds that cross in front of them, and you hear this like humming through the air as they do, both going from different directions, and as they collide in the center, there's like a spark as the steel like hits each other, and they seem to be like humming.
Whoa.
I do a high-pitched girly scream.
Cool. So they just stop immediately in front of you guys, and there's just it looks like it'd be quite difficult to get past here, for like a medium-sized creature to like crawl through. It could be quite difficult if you don't want to.
I grab onto your arm, Sil, and I'm with the other arm that I don't have my cantrip with my flame hand in, and I'm visibly shaking, just like, they're alive, I knew it, they're alive.
I'm like, okay,
This is just
Calm
gonna
down.
vindicate her fear. Oh, goodness.
they haven't attacked us. This is a miracle. We always get attacked.
They haven't attacked us yet. They moved!
Are they moving right now?
No, they are stationary.
Seco, they're
might be.
still fine.
Maybe they're moving too fast for us to see.
Fine. They just are blocking something very important. Maybe
I run
some
and hide
loot.
behind you and just like kind of peer out from the side.
Do you like loot, Co? I've heard you like loot. I think there's some loot hidden behind these statues. Through the next room.
We smash the statues and then I talk. Then we'll talk.
Alright. I know
We
we have a
smash the
very big
statues?
axe.
Can I,
This guy,
what are they made out
I
of?
would very much appreciate that.
Okay, so the statues appear to be made out of a mixture of steel and stone. The halberds appear to be like a stone, like a steel, like handle, and then the heads of these halberds are also steel. Davos and Sil, if you're both checking this out, just roll a perception check for me.
14.
14.
5.
5. So everything seems to be fine, but the only thing that is a little bit off is that there's this low frequency hum that is coming from the statues.
Can I poke my quarterstaff out and sort of knock the spears, like sort of knock it about halfway down the quarterstaff, just bang.
Yep, sure.
See what
so
happens.
you like knock on the steel with the quarterstaff, and
Yeah.
you see the halberds kind of separate slightly for a moment, and there's this massive arc of lightning that just jumps between the two of them, and it just like crack. There's this
Whoa.
massive, almost like compression wave that comes off of the like arcing like electricity.
Whoa.
And luckily, using your
So-
timber staff did not conduct enough to shoot.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I do an Arcana check on this, please?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead and roll one for me. Let me know what you get.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. You feel like either there is some kind of enchantment that was done here that is causing like a very localized shocking grasp effect to occur on these statues for anyone that touches them. And you can see that where the halberds cross, it's about maybe 2 feet from the ground, and there's enough room for like a medium humanoid to like crawl on their gut through prone, and it'd be much easier for like a smaller creature, but you could get through this without touching the blades or the staffs.
And I believe that if you call through, you won't trigger the effect.
Yeah, it seems to be localized to like the steel of this, whatever is conducting the electric.
Do I think that the effect is going to wear off with time, or do I think it's just going to keep going?
It seems as though it would continue going for a period of time until this trap reset itself. You noticed, like, while you've been walking throughout the rest of the dungeon, that there's points where you guys have walked over pressure plates, and they have reset. So you're not 100% sure of what time it would be over, but you've been past, like, the same location, say, like, 2 hours apart, and you think that they would reset.
I say, okay, don't touch the halberds. There's some sort of magic there, obviously, from what we just saw. We could probably crawl under here. The trap will probably reset itself eventually. I don't know when that is. I'd say we just crawl under, but be careful.
Can I get a bit of a hand, just if someone gives me a bit of a hand as I crawl through? Can I do that?
Like pushing you?
Push
as you
my
crawl
legs
through?
as I sort of go through.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, as I crawl
the main
through.
part of it is to like try and keep yourself close together. So, describe to me what you would have someone else do.
Yeah. So I'd like to squeeze really close together and just focus on not touching them as someone slides me through from the feet. Going head
Okay.
first.
Push him along.
So just like
Push him
pushing
in.
you, and you're just like, I will be a pin. Sure.
I
So
will deep in, yes.
as you're going through, still, if you can make for me a dexterity saving throw, dexterity check,
Oh boy.
just to make your way through, not a saving throw.
Okay. That is a 9.
A
Oh.
9. Okay.
Damn.
Oh, wait a second. Was that a saving throw?
No, just a.
Well, if it was a
dexterity
saving
check.
throw, I'd be
Go
much
ahead.
better off.
You could probably, for the way that you've described it, add your acrobatics bonus if you'd like.
Oh, I'd love to. That would be a 12.
Okay. So you make it through, managing to keep your core nice and tight and like just stay in that position as you see Davos and Magnus kind of pushing your feet, and you go through with no issues, arriving on the opposite side, and I'll say that you're just standing like, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do at all. There's a giant rectangle on your head.
Oh my God.
Everybody dies. The rectangle of death. But yeah, you make it through, no worries. Kind
Yep.
of holding your torch, like you throw your torch through first and then get pushed. Who's following you?
I can hold out my quarterstaff and like through the gap for someone to hold on to,
Okay,
and I can help pull them through.
cool. Okay, so I'll give advantage on that for whoever goes next.
I think I'll need it because I'm quite bulky, and I'm still like I'm medium sized, but I'm still wearing a lot of armor.
You are. And you grab onto the staff.
So
Go ahead and roll a dexterity check for me.
natural 1.
That's with advantage.
Oh, was it with advantage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Sil was using it to like help pull you through.
Okay, 14.
14. Okay. You managed to make it through. Kind of like grating, and you see at one point, Sil, you're like pulling him through, and there's this tiny little arc that like jumps onto his chainmail just as you like kind of pull him through. And Davos, you get a bit of a tickle in the back. It like makes you spasm for a second, and then your arm's a little bit numb. But other than that, you both seem to have made it through. No big issues. Ko, Magnus, who's next?
I'm still kind of hanging back, going.
I say, I kind of walk up to her and I sigh and I go on. It's gonna be okay. They're there to help you. It'll be fine.
It'll be
You have to
fine.
push me in the back towards it.
What did you say you were doing, sir?
Are you pushing me in the back towards it, or?
No, I'm just encouraging you.
If it helps, I could oil the ground.
Hold on, I
me a
get
minute
a
to start.
gold. I get out a gold piece and I throw it so that it lands on the other side. And
Will you do it for a Scooby snack?
then I say, "Go on, go get it, go get it."
like kind of trying to look at you like.
I think she's gonna need a push.
I look like I'm like really scared because I just saw them
grab the
move.
corner stuff.
Okay, sure. I will. Is she really focused on the statues? Is she not looking at me?
I focus on the statues.
She's very
Okay.
distracted.
So behind her, I will. I will disguise self to look like one of the statues, and then I will go, boo.
I scream and I run to the other side and hide behind Seal.
So they're
Well, you
crossing,
gotta grab the quarter
crossing
stuff first.
about 2 feet off the ground. So you need to like crawl underneath.
I do that as quickly as I can just to get away
Okay.
from the
So
statue.
roll a dexterity check. Yeah, just a dexterity check for me. You can add acrobatics if you like.
So 17.
17.
Hooray!
You're through. You kind of like begin crawling through.
I peek out behind your back, Seal. I'm like,
And I drop the illusion.
Yeah, nice. And Magnus.
I
as you
mutter swear words in primordial under my breath.
see- yeah, there's just this like almost sounds like crackling like timber that's sitting in like a hearth, coming from Ko's mouth right now. Just these like extremely like rough flame like induced sounds coming from her body. So Magnus, please make a check for me as you try to pass by the guards.
Absolutely. 16.
16 is plenty. So you go ahead, make it through, and you're all standing on the opposite side just before the doors that these two large brass doors ahead of you. So
I also pick up my coin.
And I picked up my torch.
cool. Okay, so everyone is ready to continue. You're just opening the doors. You got double doors here.
Should we knock? That's a
We should
joke.
probably-
Let's not knock.
Check for traps. Let's check for traps.
Okay, so
I'd like to tap it with my finger. Dum, 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 dum. Just lightly.
just slightly.
Sort of having a feel of the door. Just
Okay.
seeing if there's any weird clicks when I touch the door.
I take out my skelly hand and I kind of wave it in front of the door.
It's a voodoo doll
So-
now.
So Sil,
It's gonna come in so much handy, you watch.
Sil, go
It's gonna come in handy.
Hey.
so bad.
Sorry.
Take it. Both of you
Sorry,
take
I keep interrupting
inspiration
with
for your
bad jokes.
ridiculous attempts at trying to find traps. But go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Roll. Sil, roll investigation with advantage. Because Ko is assisting you here.
That would be 17.
17. Doesn't seem to be trapped. These doors look like they are just kind of levers that would be like there's just like a point where you can grab on the door handles that would open it. Doesn't look like there's any traps at all.
Does anyone object if I slightly open the doors and poke my head through
Well, Sil,
with the torch?
these are double doors, right? So it seems like a perfect opportunity for a dramatic entrance.
Well, there's 4 of us. What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. Okay, so... Ooh, let's take a door each.
Do you
Alright.
want me to burst in between you?
You
Well-
can take up the rear.
We're gonna push
He
it
just wants to
open.
say his
and
catchphrase.
I'm gonna say Avast, and Sil's gonna say Ye, so Davos, maybe you can do like a have at you?
Sure. I get it, but sure.
Okay. And
Yes.
Ko, do your best at looking really menacing, maybe flare up your hair.
I ignore you.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Avast!
What have you?
Perfect.
Davos, next time you don't get to take part.
Nice.
that's exactly what my character would do as well.
So, when the door comes open, a rush of warm, fetid air greets you. The room is lit with a sanguine glow. On the wall opposite the door are tacked several human skins. A cat of nine tails hangs beside them. To the west, the room widens to accommodate a statue that towers almost to the ceiling. The statue is an ogre-like figure, outlined in flayed skins and adorned with skulls, with a gaping mouth wide enough to swallow a horse whole. It is seated atop a huge basin of red coals, more than 10 feet in diameter. Around the statue is a pile of splintered bones, skulls with cracked pates, and broken weapons. In front of the display crouches a panther, deathly still, facing away from the statue. To the east, the walls are highly polished. They loosely enclose an intricate carved well that seems to be illuminated from within. Beyond the well, mounted on the wall, is a blackened mirror with a rich, ornamented frame. Directly above the well, in the 25-foot high ceiling, a 5-foot wide opening can be discerned in the red light of the room.
I would like to have a look at the well, but Davos, could you keep your eye on that creepy statue?
I'll
Yeah,
go
I just-
with Sil.
Yeah, I just stand there ready to attack the statue.
Wait, there is a well?
Yeah, to the right, to the east, as we come through the doors.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a well. It's very creepy, but there's light emanating from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like a blood red glow.
Yeah. Yeah, we chose the wrong room to invest ye into, I believe.
So let's go check it out, I guess. Let's go check out the well.
I mean, you can turn
I
around.
substitute a quarterstaff for a spear.
And yeah,
Cool,
I'll bamf for my sword back because this is creepy AF.
Nice.
Mm.
So, as you guys walk up, you can see that there seems to be like some kind of illumination from within the well. And you get a little bit closer and can see that there is certainly light within the well. It almost looks like the surface of whatever liquid is in here is glowing, like it is giving off light.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's
Um,
creepy.
Hey, Beliga?
I guess, did she follow us or no?
Assume they're with you. I'll give simple responses.
Beliga, maybe detect magic might be in order here. I'm not entirely certain what this is.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of looks around and just has, you see that she's thinking for a moment. She's like, I don't think it's, like, it's magical, but I don't know that it's a magic item. Let me see. And she goes ahead and
Because
sits
detect
and begins.
magic should give us the school, right?
Perhaps. She's like, it usually does. And you see her sit down, open the books, and begin ritual casting. Just spending 10 minutes. So, in those 10 minutes, what are the rest of you doing?
How's that statue going, Davos?
Still a statue.
What about that cat?
Oh, I was looking at a cat.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Yeah.
Statue?
So, have you moved like closer to see what's going on?
I'm standing where I'm standing right now.
Yeah. So you haven't really moved towards the statue at all. So yeah, it looks like everything's pretty stationary, like as though it is again a taxidermied animal.
Hmm.
Well, I want Beliga with her magic eyes to look at the statue and look at the well and look at the mirror before we touch anything.
Certainly. So you all begin just sitting and waiting.
Actually, I would like to poke the one. Wait, there's like skins on the wall.
Yeah, there's
Was
like
there?
pretty much where Davos is standing. You can see that there's like 3 skins, 3 human skins that have been like flayed and made into like a leather of some sort.
Can I use? I'd like to use the back of my staff to sort of the spear to kind of pick it up and
Yep.
lift it off the wall if I can.
Yeah, you like pull it back, and it looks as though there's like a piece of timber that has like the shoulders and arms like strung across it, and the timber is like sitting on a section of like stone that sits out off the wall, as though they've just been hung up there ornamentally.
Right. Okay. Do you want to move closer to the statue, Davos?
Not really. Can we throw something at it and see what happens?
Let's just
We
wait
can.
for the magic, guys. Let's not go off willy-nilly.
Okay, can we wait? But can I get bored and throw the remnants of my last torch at the panther?
Yeah, for sure. So you're all kind of just waiting, and Belle, you can hear underneath her breath, she's just kind of like, and it seems as though the pages are beginning to glow on her spellbook. And at that point, Sil, you're just kind of standing near these like flayed skins. Like the old torch is like still at your side. You just throw it at the panther. Just roll a dex check for me just to see how accurate you are.
That is 21 total.
21, perfect. Bonk! Hits it right on the head. Just like straight on the head. And for a moment, yeah, nothing happens. It seems fine. It's just like a taxidermied cat. And then immediately, you just see it like shake, like when you see cats that have like gotten slightly wet. It just like shakes, and then looks around itself, like just like scanning around the room, and
Oh god.
just slowly begins walking like around the statue slightly. And then I'm just going to put a little marker on the board so that you guys can see where
I hate
bored.
everyone right now.
this thing
It's a
went.
10-minute wait, man. I can't sit there in a creepy
Phil?
room all
I
day.
can't just sit here.
What did I say?
I just played fetch.
Still, what did I say?
You said don't touch anything.
And what did you do?
I threw something. There's a difference.
Technically, he didn't touch it. The torch did.
I touched the torch.
What's the statue above the cat look like?
So it looks like some kind of
An
ogre
orc?
like figure. Yeah. Like a very large creature.
Seeing the cat move, I just back out back into the hallway. I'm just like,
Nope.
I cast Thunderous Smite on my axe.
Okay,
Ooh.
cool.
That's if it does hit.
So yeah, so you're just holding that spell on your axe at the moment, or are you trying to hit the creature?
I'm going to try and hit the creature, but I cautiously cast it on it, and I am ready to. Actually, no. Where is it? Is it over the coals yet?
Well, at the moment, it seems to be walking like just, like it jumps over the coals, and then just begins walking around the perimeter of the statue.
Wait. Don't attack it.
Okay,
Can I throw
I'm
some
ready to
rations at
attack.
it?
Yeah, can I
Who had
attack?
that animal ring?
That'd be
Thorax has it.
Yeah.
Can I ready attack? So, like, if it attacks me, I can swing at it?
So the idea behind like readying a spell is that within 6 seconds you can like let it go. So you can be prepared to cast a spell, but you can't necessarily like hold a spell so for like a minute and then let it go. So it's kind of like you just
Say-
essentially.
This is separately just the axe, just trying to hit it.
Yeah, so you'd still need
And
to.
the spark.
Sorry, you kind of cut out there a little bit, man.
Sorry, no, basically it's concentration up to a minute, but it's only if I hit it. But yeah, basically I'm ready to hit it.
Yeah, so you will be ready to cast that spell.
Oh no, I've already cast it onto. No, yeah. Basically, I've cast it onto my axe.
Okay, so what does the spell do? Sorry.
So basically, you cast it, and the first time you hit with a melee weapon, it makes a thunderous boom and blah 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 blah.
Okay. So you've cast it onto your axe at this point. Yeah, sure. Cool. Okay. So yeah, so for about
Thorax. Hey, Thorax.
yeah.
Want to talk to that thing?
He'll just try to seduce it.
You see Thorax begin walking forward. He's just like, "Hey, baby, how's it going?" And he's just like strutting a little bit as he like walks towards the panther.
Oh god.
And you see Thorax get to like about 5 feet back. Probably, yeah, just beyond you here still. And the creature seems to like step past him, not really notice him, and walk around for a second. Then it walks past him. And he's like, hey, no need to be a prude. And it just begins walking like through you guys, around you guys.
Whoa.
Kind of settles.
Does it look threatening?
Roll an insight check.
Uh,
13. It looks like it doesn't see you. It's just not paying attention to
I
any
think
of
there's
you in this
something.
room at the moment.
Can I try and touch it?
Yeah, if you
Oh
want
wait,
to.
I already did that. Yeah, I did bonk it on the head.
You did.
Hmm.
It's- yeah,
I
it's-
take that thought and I don't do it because Magnus said not to touch anything.
How's Beleaguer going with that spell?
Cool. So at this point, Beleaguer would finish ritual casting, and you see that the spell kind of like ignites, and she can see around she looks around the room in front of her for a moment, and just takes a second to sort of, I suppose, drink in everything that's going on around her. Slowly she walks up towards the pool that you had asked her to look at, and if you give me half a moment here, I'll be able to let you know what she tells you, because then I'll know what I need to tell you. She says, "That looks like evocation magic, but there's something off about it. I'm not sure what."
What about the mirror?
The mirror seems fine. It's an old mirror. She like walks up and like rubs at it for a second, and you can see that rather than silver, it seems to be like a very, very like highly polished obsidian.
Ooh, pretty.
What about the
what-
big black cat?
And the ogre.
Point at it. What about Kitty?
She looks at the cat and she's like, "It's a pretty kitty." That's a panther. And it just
What
kind
about
of
the
walks.
big guy Bell? Anything?
She's like, "Oh god. Yeah, okay, give me a second."
Yeah, I know. Real irritating trying to keep us all alive.
Oh yeah. And she kind of walks up beside Thorax. You can see her stop, and she's like, "Well, there's a magical mace head over there, but it looks like a piece of shit." And she's pointing at, you can see this mace head that seems to be very well crafted, but the haft is actually broken, a little bit decayed. She's like, there's not really that much more, you know, magic in here, guys. I mean, you guys look the same as usual. I like Ko's headdress. It's very pretty.
We all agree on that.
Should I hit the Jaguar?
Hey, wait, no, it's a panther, and hey, could be innocent here.
Okay, so the pool was evocation, but something's off about it.
Should we throw something into it?
Where's that husk of the torch? Yeah,
see-
are there any like rocks lying around or anything?
Not rocks so much, but you can definitely like see there's a lot of stuff sitting at the base of the statue. There's like a whole heap of broken
I'd like
weapons.
to...
Can I throw a copper piece into the well?
Oh, yes. Wise.
Sure. Yeah, you walk
Make a
up,
wish.
Davos, like careful to step around the panther that seems to be like prowling this area. And you take a copper piece and throw it into the well. It kind of splashes a little bit, and there's like this light that seems to like bounce around the inside of it for a moment, and then you can hear just booming throughout the room. War has come and foul war purpose.
Oh, God.
So, what languages do you guys know?
Primordial.
Sylvan. Elven.
I know the ones that Sil knows, and I also know Infernal.
Cool.
And I know Davos knows Infernal and Abyssal, I think.
Yep.
But he's not. You there, Nelly?
Yeah, sorry. What language was it?
You don't know. What languages do you know?
Infernal, Celestial, and Abyssal.
Cool. You guys have no idea what that thing just said. But it sounded very, like, low and resonant.
Okay. So, does anybody know what it said? No? What's the statue doing? My instinct tells me the statue is the one talking, so I'd like to look at the statue, please.
Sure, you turn back around and look towards the statue. It hasn't moved.
I guess Belle could do the languages thing, but that's going to take another 10 minutes.
I say we leave.
But I'm so curious
Belle-
now.
Yeah, she says, I could do that, but...
And they say good things about curiosity in cats.
Well, there's a cat right here, and he's fine.
What if we put the cat in the well?
You want to pick up the panther?
I would like to attempt to feed it one of my rations. Can I hold it out for the panther?
Yeah, for sure. You wait for a moment, and it comes back across towards you. You, like, what are you holding out in front of it?
I am holding out some of the food that we prepared earlier, one of which would be dried meat, I assume.
Sure.
So, because that's a pretty common thing you take with you.
Yeah, you've got like some jerky of some kind, and you're like walking along in front of it, and you're holding it out in front of the creature, and it doesn't really like respond for a moment, and then you see like its nose twitch, and it just like looks around, and you can see its eyes darting around. They're not like glossed over or anything, and it just sort of pauses and like opens its mouth.
I'd like to pop a piece of jerky inside, please.
Cool. So you like put a piece of jerky in, and it like bites down and begins gnawing, and then like gets down on its like front legs, and like bum up in the air still, and like begins like chewing on the piece of jerky.
Good kitty. Okay, I think the cat's fine.
Can I focus on my sword for a sec and just
Yep.
mentally, like say in my brain, but not out loud? Should I be interested in this liquid? Do you want me to do anything with it?
You just hear. Seems pointless. You can probably find a better use
And I
of
think
time.
back. Cool. I think back. Understood, as you wish. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, these guys, I mean, we don't know what that language was, and it looks dangerous. Maybe we should just go somewhere else.
Okay. While the panther's feeding, I would like to pat it goodbye on top of its head.
Yeah, sure. So you
Cautiously.
like,
I'm no thorax.
sure. So in this instance, roll an animal handling check with disadvantage.
Oh boy. I'm already not good at it. Oh wait, I am, kind of. Oh, okay. 11
11.
with disadvantage, so 11's the lowest.
Cool. So you touch the creature on the back of the neck and begin like sort of moving your hand down its back, and immediately it like turns its head. You can see there's like a tiny bit of jerky that's just like hanging off its lip, and the eyes lock to yours, and it's just looking immediately at you. And in this moment, it stops. You see the tongue kind of like lick the piece of jerky and pull it into its mouth, and it just begins doing that really like wide chew that you see cats doing. And then for a moment, it stops, like its nose twitches, and it opens its mouth again.
Can I try and lead it on with the jerky? I'd like to hold out a piece and kind of dangle it out towards
Sure.
me, bring it towards the door.
Go ahead and roll an animal handling check. That would be like, if you are proficient in persuasion, I will give you your proficiency bonus. If you're not proficient with animal handling,
What? No, I'm not proficient with animal handling, but I'm not bad at it. I'm really not good at persuasion though, so
okay. So just
does that affect this?
just your wisdom modifier. You're like probably more persuasive with animals.
13 again.
13. Okay. You kind of like begin walking backwards with it, and you can see that the creature kind of stands up a little from where it had been crouched down, and it looks towards you, looks around, and doesn't seem to notice anything else, and then begins walking towards you, kind of like shoulders up, and it begins hunching down like a little.
Oh boy.
And at that point, Syl. Dun 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 dun. The suspense is probably really bad right now, but I'm flipping pages trying to find
killing
what
me.
I'm doing.
I want to frisbee the meat into its mouth right now.
Okay.
I really don't
So,
want this thing to pounce on me.
Go. Please don't kill me.
Well, I just wanted to say goodbye.
So, can you make a strength check for me, Syl? Strength saving.
I can. Oh, okay, that's better. 20 total.
20. Fantastic. You kind of like manage to, like, there's these giant paws that are coming for you, and doesn't look like the
Okay.
claws are like out. It just like you can just see the bottoms, like the pads of the paws, and they like push you on the chest and kind of make you step back a little, but you throw the jerky up into the air at the same time. And, like, grabs the jerky and lands on the ground again, and then like turns around and begins walking back through the same cavern that it was in. Just like nonchalantly,
Okay.
like walking around. It's like, fuck this. I've got jerky.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that panther wins this round. I'll call that a win.
And it doesn't. It still
I'd
seems to
like
be passing.
go-
Still seems to be passing through the legs of like everyone else in here, and like just missing everyone. And then it still will lock eyes with you occasionally, and then look back to the world around it, but not seeming to notice any other of the humanoids.
Whoa. I don't know what's going on here, guys, but
We're back.
does anyone want to stay? Because I don't.
I don't see any loot.
I'm still hanging out behind the door.
I tried to pull a thorax and make friends, but thorax, don't know how you do it, bud.
It's like,
He rolled like lots of 19s in a row.
He's like, it's my animal magnetism, also my sex appeal, and then he just begins like walking back out of the room. He's like hanging around here anymore, are we? With that prude.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm good. 2 bits of jerky down.
It's like, great, let's go.
You guys coming, by the way?
Yeah.
Anything important, Magnus?
No, there's nothing here. Let's move on.
I see. Alright, well, we've got to go back through this. Oh, are the statues still how we left them?
They are.
Alright. Can we attempt to go through the same way that we came through the first time?
Yep. So, Syl, if you go
Squeeze
through
through.
first, go ahead and take a dexterity check for me. You can take advantage because everyone will push you.
Okay. That's 15.
15, good enough. You get through. There's no real issues. And then if I can just get
Cool.
dexterity checks from everyone with advantage, we'll get back through to the other side, hopefully.
Yeah. Grab my incredibly long wood.
17 for me.
17.
26
Magnus is
for me.
through. Ko just like slips through, no issues. She's kind of fine with the statues at the moment, but still shooting like
I'm just like,
sideward glances.
and just do it really cautiously, so I.
Yeah, they're better than the other statue.
Natural 20.
And Davos is through as well. No arcing this time. And you all
Hooray.
make your way back into what has been lovingly termed the giant cat room.
Giant cat room. I guess I'm one ration down.
Yeah, I'd say you probably are.
Oh well.
Convincing your way around a panther.
Can I take a short rest now? Actually,
So yeah, up to you guys. If you want to spend an hour and take a short rest, that's fine. But yeah, you are spending an hour.
How are we all feeling? I'm a bit shook up after that. I'm happy to sit here meditating if anyone needs a drink.
yeah, I do.
Alright.
Cool.
Shall
Okay.
we do that?
Well,
I'm okay. So while they're doing that, can I do some exploring?
sure. Yeah, if you want to go off. Ko, what are you doing?
I'm just checking out my hat, seeing if it's got any more things, and I'm kind of grooming it.
Sure. Doesn't seem like it's got any more
You
things,
could
but
come meditate.
all of the feathers look wonderful. And you look over the headdress at one point, and you're like looking along this massive feather, and then like just realizing it is in pristine condition. You kind of lower the hat, and you see Syl sitting down, cross-legged, kind of like hands in his lap. He just puts his hand up and kind of like beckons.
I kind of scoot over.
Oh, fun. Is it time to learn about meditation?
What's meditation?
It's where you look inwards and you channel your inner key. Do you know what key is?
Something you use to open a lock?
Yes, actually that's very correct. But not a physical key. But you still got the point.
Like a magic key?
Basically, it's like an energy. And it's basically putting a lot of work into your energy, focusing on it, if you will. It usually just helps to breathe.
How
Just focus on your
how
breathing.
can I focus on something that's not there?
You have to look inwards. You spend your whole life looking outwards. If you
There's a
look
key inside of me?
There's a key in all of us. It is the vital force that holds everything together.
Do we need to tell someone about this?
It's a secret.
Okay.
Yeah. The first thing you have to do is let go of your attachment to the outcome of meditation. That's the first step. And then you close your eyes and just let all your worries pass by and focus on your heartbeat.
I kind of sit cross-legged and I scoop myself like uncomfortably close to you, so like our knees are touching, and I close my eyes. But like
Cool.
I'm kind of sitting slouched, but I'm like, like breathing really loudly, like I'm a mouth breather or something.
And it's not. It doesn't
You
sound
do
like
have lots of plan.
It doesn't sound like the kind of usual breath of like a human. You can hear like what sounds as though a fire being stoked, as though like bellows are being operated over coals, and there's just this kind of like crackling in the breath that Ko has, and there's almost heat that's radiating off of her as she's breathing in and out, and it's a different, very different sensation. But you two sit meditating. Ko trying to find her key, and Davos, you...
I'm secretly just like also moving a hand like over my stomach, trying to feel like a key inside of me.
Yeah,
Just
you
occasionally
basically
like,
got it.
maybe
You get
it's
it.
maybe it's under my arm. So you two do this. Davos, you sit and strap your wounds, take some time to really just,
And that's
You know,
how I got the fork in my mouth.
take check here. And Magnus, you said that you wanted to explore, so where are you headed?
I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, while they're chilling out, keep reading Magical Mysteries.
Oh, I thought you were going to meditate too.
For sure. So, Magical Mysteries.
Trust me, you don't want me to meditate.
I'm pretty sure I do.
But yeah, reading Magical Mysteries.
Yep, fantastic. So, I think with it being 10 to 11 on this Monday
10 and
evening,
10.
I am going to go ahead and call the night, call the game for tonight, because my brain is obviously working really well, and I hope that everyone that has been watching on Twitch has enjoyed the game. We really love seeing like people coming back and watching, and that there's a bit of chatter in the Twitch chat, and it's always good to see. But if you've enjoyed what we've been doing, I've been a little bit lazy with you. Oh, well, not lazy, busy with other things to get the YouTube videos loaded up. But hopefully in the next week I'll be able to get us up to date. You can head over to YouTube and catch up on all of the adventures so far by searching for Secret Sex Dungeon. And you'll find everything from the beginnings in Daggerford through to this temple that we're currently in. If you like Dungeons & Dragons memes and want to have a bit of a giggle and are on Instagram, go over and find us at instagram.com/secretsexdungeon. And over on Facebook, we're still having a bit of chatter back and forth about, characters and what we do there. Sometimes we're getting a little bit of artwork up for each of the characters. So if you guys have any interpretations, feel free to hit us up over there on Facebook at facebook.com/secretsexdungeon. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. You can also email us. We're at Gmail, and it's just secretsexdungeon@gmail.com. But we'll talk to you next Monday when we come back and try to figure if we're going northeast or southwest in this dungeon. My name's been Luke McFan. I've been joined by Matt playing Magnus, Alex playing Davos, Beck playing Ko, and Jordan who is playing Syl. Until next Monday, we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.